tradition for my next trick. So I've posted some videos online of me firing weapons or dry firing at home, and I've gotten a few questions from different people, typically women, but some guys too, about weapons. So I wanted to post a video on like Pistols 101 by me, aka a non-expert, but who's been handling pistols her whole life, but more proficiently in the last like 2 to 3 years. First thing, most important thing, do not point your weapon at anything you don't want to shoot. That's how people get shot and killed by accident. Next super important thing is trigger discipline. What I mean by that is every time that I hold a pistol until I'm ready to fire it, my finger is out here. It's not in here. P.S. This is totally clear. Clear weapon, cool. The trigger discipline part is how most people shoot themselves. So do not put your finger on this trigger until you're ready to fire. Next thing is the different types of pistols. This is a semi-automatic weapon. It means there's a slide and a magazine. That's how you load your rounds into the chamber and shoot things. It's semi-automatic because I have to press the trigger every time a bullet comes out. If it was automatic, I would just hold the trigger down and there would be a spray of bullets. See Vietnam. And like some stuff the military does, which is really cool. The other type of pistol is a revolver. That's the ones that you see in like old Western movies. It's the one with the cylinder in the middle, like 5 or 6 shots around. I don't have a revolver, sorry I can't show you, but there's like a little hammer that comes back here. Maybe I can put a picture of one. I'm not a fan of revolvers. I've never seen someone pick up a revolver and be good with it. I have seen people pick up a semi-automatic and at least put rounds on target. They might not be exactly perfect, but they hit the thing they were looking at. So this is my go-to. I think everyone should have. Sorry, revolver people. Tell me why I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong. Next are the basic parts of a gun. So I'm not gonna bore you with like literally pulling this thing apart and showing you all the different areas of the weapon, but I'll tell you the big stuff. So this is the slide right here. This is the barrel. That's where the actual round goes from. This is your trigger. For Glocks, this is the only safety. So if I try to pull it from the side, it's not gonna let me. I have to put my whole finger on the trigger before it lets me shoot it. This right here is the slide release. So that's how if you wanna clean your weapon, there's always something like this on whatever semi-automatic weapon that you have. So it may be a little different. Ruger LC9, you have like a key thing. So it's a circle. You pull the slide back and push it through. You have a key. You push it through, and then that allows you to pull the slide off to clean it. Other side. This is your slide release. So you saw me before locking the slide back. That's because this little guy goes up and stops it. You can either pull that straight down to release it or pull back and let it go. Or do a little both, whatever. This is your magazine release. This is your magazine. That's where the bullets go. Don't call this a clip. That's not what this is. If you call it a clip, that tells everyone in the gun community that you're not a gun person. This is a magazine. Insert the magazine. You want the part that's gonna go and shoot someone to be facing the front of your weapon. Whoa, cool. I'm not gonna actually load this because I have more dry firing to do. Anyways, so you put that in till it clicks, and then to release it, you've got your magazine release. Next is your sight picture. Again, I mentioned this in the other video, but just to be sure, your sight picture is what you see when you're aiming at something. So for a Glock, this is a stock Glock sight, so it has a U in the back and a little dot up front. You want it to look like this. So it's flat across the top, the dot is in the middle, but you see about like 3/4 of it if you have a Glock. There are other types of sights, but sight picture is what you want to see every time that you put your weapon out. So whenever you are like practicing, you go out, you want to see that same picture every time. Because that means once you practice long enough, every time you push your weapon out, it's going to be on target, which is good. Your trigger pull is pulling the trigger back. For Glocks and most semi-automatics, but not all, whenever your slide racks back, there's a reset. So you'll hear that click. It's not all the way out. I can go again, and it's faster. If I did not let that reset. So there's the reset. I can go out more. So there's more time, energy, and movement that has to happen if you don't reset and just pull the trigger back every time from full extension. You can have a heavy trigger pull or a light trigger pull. It's just referring to the pounds of pressure that it takes to pull the trigger all the way back. I had a Ruger LC9, like the first edition, and the Hammerfire edition, and it had a really heavy trigger pull, and I hated it and I was bad with it. So I like light trigger pulls. Loading the magazine. Here you go, you've got your magazine here, or this is the front, or maybe it's easier to say this is the back, the one with the holes. These holes have numbers, so how you load your magazine is, this is springy, so you push down on the front and then push it back so that the back of the casing, or in my case the silver part, is against the very back of the magazine. So then next you push down, this is how I do it anyway, being a girl with no upper body strength. I push down on the casing part and then do the same thing. So I get it started with my thumb and then push it back. There are speed loaders that you can get. I think they're called. That's what I always called them. Anyways, that makes this easier. I don't use them, I don't have them, but everyone else that I shoot with does, and it's pretty handy. I also only have to load 6 in a magazine. They have to load like 10, 15, 17. It is extremely important that you know how many rounds your weapon holds, because that's how many chances you get to hit the bad guy or the bad animal or whatever you're trying to get away from you. So mine carries 6 + 1. The +1 is 1 in the chamber. So my magazine holds 6, and then I carry 1 in the chamber. Some people don't feel comfortable doing that. I do. I have really strong trigger discipline, so I know that when I pull my weapon out, I'm not gonna like shoot myself. So I have 6 rounds in here. To chamber a round, so to put it in the chamber, which is this little thing here that makes it ready to fire out the barrel. Once you load your magazine, to put one in the chamber, you rack your slide. For ladies, this is a lot easier if you hold the back like this, like lots of surface area of your hand on the slide. There's also like serrations on most slides back here. So anyways, hold the slide with your non-dominant hand and push forward with your dominant one. And then let go. This is now ready to fire. So guess where my trigger finger is? Not anywhere near that trigger until I'm ready to fire. That's how to get a bullet into the chamber. Now I'll show you how to get one out of there. So first you gotta get rid of that magazine. So you're gonna hold that magazine release down, get your magazine out of there. There is still a round in the chamber though. Always know where this is. It's a good practice to get in the habit of every time you go to put your weapon on or like go to leave the house or whatever, is to check and see if there's a round in the chamber. So you can either do that by pulling back here, see there's that silver there, or you can what's called press check, where you hold it something like this and pull back a little bit. So that's how I hold it. Other people, it's probably easier for them to do different things. Anyways, so to clear this round out of the chamber, you're gonna rack the slide and then it's gonna eject. Rack the slide. And now my bullet's over there. You wanna do that a few times to make sure you didn't just miss one or there wasn't something weird going on, and then check your weapon, make sure it's clear. So here's how you wanna hold your gun. The first thing is your dominant hand goes on the grip as high up as you can get it. Then these 3 fingers are gonna wrap around under the trigger and your trigger finger is on the slide. So this is what it looks like, one-handed. Then your non-dominant hand goes over your dominant one. Your non-dominant thumb should be right around this area. So it looks something like this. It's always been explained to me that this gun is lazy just like we are, so it's gonna go in the path of least resistance. You want the only place for it to go is up. Another thing that True Exodus teaches, hopefully it's okay that I'm saying this stuff, it was just a really good class. If you want an awesome handgun class, True Exodus is amazing. He teaches that you wanna hold this as tight as you can until your hands start shaking and back off just a tick. That is especially important for women and people who don't have tons of upper body strength. Grip the hell out of this thing. That's the way that you're gonna be on target when putting multiple rounds down the range, which is typically what you're gonna need to do if you're carrying a smaller caliber pistol, like a 380 or a 9mm. Last thing I can give you as far as advice, there are some great videos on YouTube for like what types of weapons there are out there, the different brands, calibers, revolvers versus semi-automatic, like the whole 9 yards. Hickok45 is an awesome YouTuber. He's the one that I watched when I first started with guns. And then there are a ton of others out there giving you advice and whatnot. So number one, Google and watch some YouTube videos on which one you want to get. Then go to the gun store, or if you're lucky enough to have friends that are already into guns, go shoot those guns. In the gun store, obviously you can't shoot one. Usually hold it, try to rack the slide, pull that trigger, see how hard it is, where the reset is, what's the magazine release look like. Try this out if you can shoot it. So we have a gun store in town that you can rent a weapon and shoot it. I highly recommend. The first pistol that I bought, I didn't rent it first, and it sucked. It was horrible. I hated it. Thank the heavens that my boyfriend is amazing and got me a Glock for my birthday last year. So I didn't have to shoot that piece of crap anymore. And then once you have your weapon, dry fire the hell out of that thing. I mean, seriously, you're sitting on the couch watching TV, be dry firing. First, it's pulling it up, making sure it's on target. Aim at stuff, kill things in your kitchen, whatever. Don't point at anything you don't want to shoot though. Remember that. Don't point at any living thing you don't want to shoot. I mean, you can aim at the wall, obviously. Then get into how are you going to carry it. Lots of good holsters out there. The fastest people in the world are rocking sidecars. You can Google that. Sidecar's too big for me, so I can't carry that, but they do have a Raptor. I don't have that, but it will probably be my next purchase because I don't love my holster. So that's all I had planned to share. If I missed anything you feel like is important for people who are new to guns to know, share it and comment below, make your own video, comment how we can watch it. I am not above being wrong. I'm not an expert. I don't have a ton of training, but this is my experience in being around guns my whole life and then being pretty proficient with them for the last 2 to 3 years. And what I've learned from being a woman, having basically zero upper body strength, but still wanting to protect myself and not be a victim. All right, so that's what I learned. Keep learning.